Pranjali, good morning. Pranjali, are you there? Pranjali,
Yes,
Pranjali, are you there, beta? I can't hear you.
yes, ma'am.
Good
Beta,
afternoon, ma'am.
good afternoon, bache. You never respond, Pranjali. Whenever I call your name, you are always silent. Why is it so, bacha? Hmm? Pranjali? Hmm?
Today, what we will do?
I will give you one diagram, balance of population to draw. Right, class?
Ma'am, yesterday I have not attended the class. So yesterday, what we have done?
Beta, yesterday we started with a new chapter of geography, that is population. And today I am going to give you few figures to draw for this particular chapter. Right? Let everyone join in. And I'm sharing.
Ma'am, we have started human resources.
Yes, beta, human resources we have started. Yesterday, a good amount of explanation was also done. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
And today we will do the diagram part. Right?
Ma'am, there is no map in this chapter.
But we have.
Of course,
ma'am,
we have map. We have map,
Ma'am,
beta.
but
Yes, beta.
mine said that we have done reading till here global distribution of population.
Yes, I know, but this population balance also we need to make. Okay. That is why
Okay, ma'am.
I'm sharing it on the screen, because few things are important for this chapter, right? And you will find it interesting also to draw, right?
Ma'am, we have not made flow chart of this chapter.
I will give you flowchart also. Don't worry, bacha.
Okay, ma'am.
I have everything in store for you. Everything, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Right. I hope you all can see this diagram.
Yes, ma'am.
अब आप लोग फटाफट से इसको बनाओ अपने नोटबुक में और फिर मेरे साथ शेयर करो क्लास ग्रुप में. दिस इज असाइनमेंट फॉर दिस चैप्टर and important for the examination purpose as well. Right? All the statements, everything you will write. हाँ. Manrina and Pranjali.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Akshat. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
How much time you will take? 10 minutes are sufficient, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
Do it quick. In the geography notebooks only you do it, okay? Don't do it in the rough notebooks.
Ma'am, on the plain picture.
On the plain side, yes, on the plain side of the notebook.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, beta.
Ma'am, today is not combined class.
No, today is combined class only. 8th B and 8th A both are there.
Good morning, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, beta.
So, ma'am, with 8th you take separate class.
8th C is a separate class. 8th and A, B are combined. As I have classes in 9th and 10th also, no, beta. That is why.
Yes, ma'am. I'm in offline class also, ma'am. 8 A and B
Yes,
both are
yes,
combined.
yes, yes.
Ma'am, what you will teach in 9th class?
Beta, I take history, geography. And earlier I was taking civics also. Geography, history, civics.
Ma'am,
Yes, beta.
ma'am, there is a case in my colony. No, ma'am. And out of my colony, ma'am, there was a corona patient found.
In your colony?
No, ma'am, in out of my colony.
Acha.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now means these days only.
Yes, ma'am.
Acha. Of course,
Ma'am,
precaution.
whole house was infected by that COVID.
Acha.
Hmm.
Beta, once you are done, do let me know, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, my voice is coming.
Who has done? Fazil has done? Yes, Fazil? Fazil,
Yes, ma'am.
are you done? Or Dhruv is done?
No, ma'am.
Who is done with the work? बेटा अभी बोला किसी ने ना मैम I have done.
No, ma'am. Someone is saying my voice is coming.
Okay. Today B section students are not there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why is it?
Yes, ma'am.
All are making, मतलब, enjoying it as a holiday. Today Saturday, Basant Panchami also.
Mama, I'm here from this section.
I know only one. This is what, no? Done?
I'm doing, ma'am. Ma'am, 2 minutes. ma'am, we have to write this bottom part also.
Yes. These are statements. You may get questions based on the statement also. You may get it in the form of fill in the blanks also.
Okay, ma'am.
Beta done?
Ma'am, 1 minute.
Okay.
Ma'am, done.
Done? Okay. All have done? Fine. I hope you all have the books with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Yesterday we stopped on the global distribution of population, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Dhruv, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I think we finished reading of global distribution of population also.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now coming to the population change. Now, when we talk of the population change, beta, it refers to the change in the number of people during a specific time at in a particular area between 2 points of time. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this change it occurs because of two reasons. The first one is the natural growth, and the other is the migration. Right now, what is natural growth? Do you know? How is natural growth?
Ma'am, to grow naturally.
The difference between the birth rate and the death rate decides the natural growth rate. The number of birth per thousand life per thousand birth and death rate होता है आपका number of deaths per thousand birth, right? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Wait. Om is there in the line. Taken. Fine. Now, migration. What is migration? You know?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell what is migration?
Migration is done by few birds when they leave their place and start living at another place.
नहीं, दोबारा बताओ. Migration क्या होता है?
Ma'am, when some birds leave their place and start living at some another place.
हाँ. Migration. Yes, Om. You want to say? Om.
Ma'am, migration is the process in which some migrating bird migrate from their land to another land because of some climatic changes.
Okay, but here we are not talking about birds, my dear. We are talking about population, people. Why do people migrate?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
in
because
village,
of less
ma'am, in village
facility
to
of
city.
healthcare and less facility or less, they think that there is less chance of living here for a long time.
See, when a particular area lacks resources. See, if you remember in the olden times, during the early human beings, when early beings were there, and when no agriculture they used to undertake, when they were the wanderers, right? So at that time, they used to settle down at one place, and after all the resources of that place were over, they used to move from to the new place, right? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
But in the present time, this is not the factor. The factor is people migrate from the rural areas to the urban areas, from the villages to the towns to the cities. Now the motive of moving from rural areas to the urban areas is that they want to upgrade themselves, because in villages, in the rural areas, the education facilities are not very high, plus the employment opportunities are not there. Moreover, the standard of living in cities is comparatively much better than the rural areas, right? That is why people tend to migrate from rural areas to the urban areas. I hope I am clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Migration,
Yes,
there are
ma'am.
several factors on which migration depends. Migration is of all two types.
Ma'am, we will write in points.
Means right now I'm just explaining it to you. When we will write, I'll give you in writing also. Don't worry for that. Right? Right?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, migration is also of two types. When between two countries, migration takes place, it is called as international migration. And when between two regions within the country, migration takes place, it is called as internal migration, right?
Ma'am, when it called internal migration?
When people move from one region to another region within a country. Jaise, I am from Haryana. My parents, they migrated because my father was in a job where he had to have, transfers after every 3 years. So his last posting ultimately was to Bareilly, and we finally settled here. So it was a migration, not because of the factors that we have discussed, but it was because of the job that my father had to move from one place to another, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Movement
Okay,
of
ma'am.
people from one region to another internally within a country is called as internal migration. And when people migrate from one country to another country, that is called as international migration. I hope it is clear and understood.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Very good. Okay, these things are clear. These three topics that just now I have explained are clear and understood to each one of you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Let us read now. Okay. Population change. Can we have Om reading? हाँ जी, पढ़ो ओम बेटा।
Ma'am, can you please tell the page number?
Page number is 212.
Ma'am, from population change.
Yes, population change. Yes, beta.
Population change. The population change refer to the change in the number of population of a particular area between 2 points of the time. This change occurs due to two reasons: natural growth and migration. If you observe the pattern of the world population growth from the graph, you will notice that it has risen steadily, and the growth has been particularly steep in the
Steep.
last few decades.
Hmm.
In
Carry on.
these prehistoric times,
Hmm.
population growth was very slow as people led a nomadic life and food was scarce.
Hmm.
With the beginning of agriculture, humans settled down, civilizations developed, and population also grew steadily. After the Industrial Revolution, there was a rapid increase in population growth. In the late 90th
90s.
century, the world population was about 1 billion. During the 1930s, it was 2 billion. By 1975, it was 4 billion. And presently, it has increased by 7 billion mark.
Crossed the 7 billion mark. Carry on, carry on.
When the birth rate is more than the death rate, there is an increase in population. Birth rate is the number of lives birth per 1,000 person in a year, and death rate is the number of deaths per 1,000 persons in a year. The difference between the birth and the death rate is called natural growth rate. It indicates whether the population has increased or decreased. The annual growth rate of population is expressed as a percentage.
Very good. Okay. Anything in this to be explained? I think I made it very clear before we started reading, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you tell me how come by 1930s and by 1975 and in the present time the population is increasing and increasing only? What could be the factors for it? Can you tell? Any one of you in the class?
Ma'am, because the death rate is being decreased and the birth rate is being increased.
How? What reasons are there for the death rate to decrease and birth rate to increase?
Ma'am, birth rate is the ma'am, I can explain for the death rate.
Acha, theek hai, explain for death rate.
Ma'am, as the medicines and the
Development
what we call
inventions
yes,
and
development in science.
yes, invention.
It is leading to the decreased death rate in the world.
Yes. See, because of the development in the medical sciences, several, we have read about several ailments. We have read about several, diseases which had no cure in the past. But because of the development in the medical sciences, it has become easy for the people to find, cure for the ailments which earlier had no cure. Moreover, the vaccination program that the government launches. See, if you see earlier, several deaths used to take place because of polio, but now no such things are there because government, WHO had started a vaccination program under which it covered all those countries where the polio cases were more. So at the time of the birth only the child was given the polio drops or the vaccination for the same. So that is why the cases have reduced. Same thing goes for the epidemics also. In the past, there were several epidemics used to take place, But because of the development in the sciences, these epidemics, they are no more in the world, right? Right? So because of, like earlier, people, thousands of people used to die because of plague. Plague was considered as an epidemic. When it was hit, it used to take, hundreds, many villages used to be, infected by this epidemic and affected by the epidemic, and thousands and hundreds of people used to die because of this. So, but because of the development in the medical sciences and the inventions that have been made, so these things, we have overcome the diseases, right? Right, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That is why the birth rate has decreased. Now coming to the increased birth rate. Now because of the, see, in the past, people were not aware, right? There were no medicines, hospitals were less, but because of, again, development in the medical sciences, the birth rates have also increased. The deaths at the time of birth has also gone down. The data show that the deaths at the time of birth is decreasing day by day because of the medical facilities that are provided, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Up till here, all clear and understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Can we have Tanishka now reading the developed nations from here?
Ma'am, she is on mute.
Tanishka, you are on mute, beta. No issues, no problem.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry. The developed nation like the USA, UK, Canada, Russia, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Sweden, Switzerland, and Singapore have a low growth rate of population. This is because they have a low birth rate and advanced medical facilities have kept the death rate low too. People in these countries enjoy high standard of living and efficient infrastructural facilities.
Infrastructural facilities.
Infrastructural facilities.
Yes, beta.
On the other hand, the developing and underdeveloped nations like India, Bangladesh,
Malaysia.
Malaysia, Brazil, Mexico, Egypt, Kenya,
Kenya. Beta, Kenya.
Kenya,
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia, Ethiopia, and
Tanzania. Tanzania.
and Tanzania have a high growth rate of population as their birth rate is high and death rate is low due to improved medical facilities and life expe- expe-
Expectancy.
expect
Life expectancy. Okay.
life expectancy. Their people have a low standard of living and face problems such as unemployment, poor infrastructure,
Very good. And social crimes.
and social crimes.
Yes.
The size of population is also affected by migration of people into or out of country. Im- Immigration immigration is is the movement of people out of a country. It reduces the number of population. On the other hand, immigration is the movement of people into a country. It results in an increase in the number of population. Population also increases when the number of people migrating into a country exceeds the number migrating out of it. People generally migrate from less developed nation to the more developed one in search of better employment opportunities. Within the country, also large number of people may migrate from a rural to urban area in search of employment, better healthcare and education facilities.